So how did you lose weight? You have lost a lot of weight, right? Is it that you're not eating bananas? Hi, I'm Nancy Nash. It's been pointed out to me that I should tell you a little bit more about how I became a personal trainer. And I think that's fair. I grew up the oldest of 11 children in Massachusetts, and I was outside a lot as a kid. My dad took us hiking. I loved being outdoors. As I got a little bit older, I found that I was a really awkward kid, and I was always the one spraining my ankle during the warm up. I don't want to place blame on anyone else, but hearing other people say that you're awkward, that you're uncoordinated, that you're not sporty, that you're overweight and slow, you start to believe those things about yourself. And I realized that it was a combination of what was going on inside of me and a combination of the environmental feedback I was getting from other people and from what I was actually experiencing, that I kept falling. I kept being the kid that couldn't catch the ball. I really started believing that I was just not athletic. I started believing that, my talents would be found in other ways. That was a good thing for me. I started singing. I really liked art. Those are things I like to this day. I went to photography school, which has helped me film these videos, but I just had such a terrible relationship with fitness. The good relationship I started having was with physical therapy. I had a couple great physical therapists that showed me exercises that got me at least back to being able to, walk without crutches and go hiking with my family again. But I never figured out like any sport that was my sport. The closest I've come is running, because it's something that you can do for yourself any day, in any mood, in any weather, if you're up for it, and I have. Um, that really spoke to me on a psychological level more than on a physical, I'm a good runner level. I still work on my form with running, because with my injuries, I know that I'm never going to be a perfectly symmetrical runner. I think for a long time, I let what was inside me weigh me down. And when I did find exercise in my early 20s, I really didn't, it wasn't healthy. I know that sounds weird, but I used it as a way to torture myself mentally. So I would binge eat on the weekends and then work out for a long time, when I did go to the gym. And it was really unhealthy, just bouncing back and forth. The self-shaming that happens, and the problem, I would say now, is that I lost weight doing that. And I see that as a problem, because when something works for us, we keep doing it. So it was a process for me to get away from that shaming, and binge eating being associated with exercise. So I have met people since that definitely relate to that story. We form these really powerful associations, and usually we don't know why at that time, but retrospectively we can come back, we can take a look at it, and hopefully take something powerful away from it. So fast forwarding a bit, I lost my job, and it was a photography job, and I I saw myself being a photographer forever. I saw this as like my keystone job, and I was, going to launch my own career after this. And it was at the beginning of the recession, but I really just took that really, really hard. The day before I had become engaged to my husband, I had already put on some weight. I had definitely gotten kind of fat and happy, I would say. But it snowballed after that. I let my depression literally feed me. And I let go of exercise. It was no longer, I started fully using food to torture myself, and shame myself, and just didn't look in the mirror. Or, you know, I mean, I did, but I just, because I did know that it always stopped and started with me. I knew that when I decided to change the tide, it would happen. Uh, I didn't want to. Um, I would say that now. I wouldn't have said that then. Um, I didn't know what would make me feel purposeful again. I didn't know what was going to happen. There was a brief time where it just felt like every plan that we had fell apart. We were living an hour apart. Brian and I were living an hour apart. We were going to buy or rent a place in the middle, maybe and have our separate lives. I'm a very independent person. That's important to me. That I have a purposeful career path too. And when I lost that, it was like I just lost everything. I let myself just kind of lose myself. I think I was scared about the uncertainty. I was scared that I didn't know what was coming next. And I didn't know what to do with that. So I got a job in childcare, which I love kids. So that, was not a problem as far as switching careers for a time at least. But as anyone that has a child or has worked full time in childcare knows, it is exhausting. And so I was overweight, I was exhausted and making very little money. Um, and I didn't feel well a good majority of the time. I had body pain, I had digestive issues, um, that have gotten better since I lost weight and exercise. So during a trip to see my family in Massachusetts, Brian got really sick. He definitely was developing symptoms of pneumonia. Even towards the end of our trip at my parents' house, he was sleeping a lot. It really shook me when we were going through the airport and he was having to sit down to catch his breath every few yards. I had never ever seen him like that. I was thinking like, yeah, we're overweight, but like we're fine, We're still in our 20s. Like, that really shook me. And then his doctor's appointment and finding out that maybe things weren't so fine shook me even more. And for the first time in my life, and I say this as a person that struggles with low blood pressure now, I had high blood pressure. So it was, I think, more initially for him, but for both of us, that I was like, something needs to change. We're engaged. I love this person. I want to have an amazing life with them. And I know this is a relatable story because many clients have shared something similar with me. Sometimes you want something even more powerfully for your spouse or your child or your grandchild than you want it for yourself. And that was the situation I found myself in. So I took a CD off the Special K box that had these 10-minute workouts on it. And I still have this because it's so funny to me And yet now that I've studied behavior science, it makes so much sense to me that I started doing these 10-minute workouts to music that I liked in the morning before work. It started making me feel better, and that made me hungry for more. So I took out the self-shaming. I changed my motivation, and I was able to find a habit that stuck. I had a new association with it. First, it maybe was just fear motivated, but then I just started feeling better. Vibrant was, I'm going to steal that from a client that used that word with me recently. I felt more vibrant. I could tell, I could pick kids up and my back wasn't hurting. I had more energy to run around with them, even though I was still probably like 350 pounds. I, I just felt so much better. And we started making these other little changes. So when I found out we had high blood pressure, I took a lot of the salt out of our diet, and we started eating differently. Maybe we're going to have a smoothie for breakfast instead of have cake today. I've found that those small changes, those are the building blocks that you look back and you're like, yeah, remember when then I decided that I would start eating half the size of lasagna and seeing if I was hungry. Like I just started slowly changing a lot of different things. It wasn't any one particular thing. I would say if it was anything, it was that the motivation changed, that even on the tough days, I still deeply wanted us to have a great life together. I wanted to feel good. I wanted my family to not have to worry about my health like they've worried about the health of my other family members, my father included, who's no longer with us. And I wanted something different. So that started building into our own routine together. We started slowly exercising together, eating better together, both having more energy, both losing weight. And then we moved. We were both having a really difficult time finding work during the recession in Michigan. So we moved to New Hampshire, closer to my family. I took on a new job, and one of the things I realized starting that job was that I was going to be in an environment where I had access to all sorts of different free food. And this is not that uncommon in a great workplace. They wanted to entice us to stay. I totally get it. I'm not going to hate on them for that, but I realized that if I wanted to continue to feel well, that bad negative association I had with overfeeding myself and shaming myself could not continue. So I started telling myself that that's that's not your food. You brought your food from home. That's okay. And realizing that like every bite was a choice. Every free cookie I took was a choice. I didn't, I could just take one, or I could take none. So after a couple days of, indulging a little bit, I realized that this isn't what I want. I don't want to go back to this. I don't want to start this association in this new environment like this. So I started bringing my food, and I was at that job for quite a while. It was definitely an evolution for me, to become the person that was asking other people if they wanted to go on a walk break to get outside. We were in a beautiful area of the country, and even when we weren't, I was surprised that I found people to walk with me in the snow. I was mostly the the craziest person running on my lunch break in the snow. But in the nice weather, I found plenty of exercise companions. And then people started asking me to go to things, go to yoga at the nearby studio. And it's really interesting how that influence can pay back and forth. And you don't even realize the people around you, they want that. They want someone to encourage them to make a better choice. Even just me not having a cookie made it okay for other people to not have a cookie. You know, it's okay for them to have a cookie too, but just making those people feel supported in their choice was something I was inadvertently able to do just with the lifestyle I was living. So obviously, we're going to make a jump here to how this became a formal position for me. But it was just that gradual. It was after I lost about 100 pounds, then people felt pretty safe approaching me. Maybe this is like when a woman's 9 months pregnant, you're like, I'm pretty sure I can say, how is that baby doing? Right? So at that point, they were pretty sure they could say, so how did you lose weight? You have lost a lot of weight, right? Is it that you're not eating bananas? So I got a lot of interesting questions that I didn't feel at all qualified to answer. I did my best. I really tried to be honest with people. I was really uncomfortable about it in the beginning. I felt like I was not a licensed expert. I shouldn't be sharing this advice with other people. I wasn't totally sure why this was working for me at the time, and if the other shoe was going to drop at some point and I just wasn't going to be able to do this. So it it continued that I was people's exercise partner, and then we decided one snowy winter that we were really ready for a warmer climate. So when we did move, my husband changed careers, and I used that as an opportunity to also change careers and take a pay cut to work in the fitness industry while I was studying to be a personal trainer. And it was life changing for me. I realized that I had found my calling all over again. I just felt like I could motivate people in a different way because I had been there. I had been that overweight person. I had been that awkward person. And I was able to look at the person that didn't feel comfortable coming into the gym and make them feel comfortable. And the sales part just kind of came because when you're selling something that you really believe in, I think that's the best. I really feel that exercise helps people do all the things that they want to do so much better. And it's mental and physical. And I really do mean that the mental transformation that I went through during this journey was so much more meaningful than the physical. And not that the physical wasn't meaningful. I really do physically feel better in so many ways, but mentally I feel better. I don't associate shaming with my workouts. And when I do, I catch myself. And that's really powerful. And when I catch myself doing that with food, I revisit some of the things that have worked for me in the past. And so this is a long video. I'm probably going to edit a little bit, but I just really wanted to share with you some of my journey so you know where I'm coming from. I will never be the trainer that is just demanding more, harder, faster, stronger now, because I have done that approach with myself and I have seen how unhealthy that can be. I want you to have a really positive relationship with your body, with exercise, with your whole wellness routine. So I will always encourage you to be curious for, the roadblocks ahead, the habits that are helping you, the habits that are hurting you right now, so that you can go forward and have the life that you want to have. So I invite your questions and comments below. Thanks for sticking with this and learning a little more about me. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found something today that you can use to seize your inner star. Feel free to check out our other videos and let me know in the comments below what topics you'd like to see me cover next. Thanks. We'll see you on the next video.